Okay, welcome guys to this tutorial. Last tutorial we talked about how to manipulate strings, and we also talked about how to specifically we talked about string formats. Okay, so we learned how to format our string in Python programming language. So today we are going to look at other forms of string manipulation. An example is the escape character. Okay, so the escape character allows you to use quotes that you are not actually allowed when you normal uh, that you are not normally allowed while actually working with strings. For instance, we have initiated a variable here txt equals, so we are the so-called big boys of Lagos. Okay, if you notice we have introduced this escape character here. This helps the compiler to ignore this double quote. Okay, so let us run this and see what will be the output. So you can see we are the so-called big boys of Lagos. All right, now notice this double quotes. Okay, notice this double quotes. On a normal basis, if you had tried to do that, to include that here, let's take out the escape character here and take out this escape character here. And try to run that. You see it throws up an error. Okay, so you cannot, and the error is of the syntax error category, which is the invalid syntax. Okay, so that's it for the escape character. You can also use it to actually, there are different types of escape ways in which you can actually use the escape character. Okay, you can use it to indicate that you are actually getting into a new line. You can use that to tell the compiler that you actually need the strings to go into a new line. Let's try to make use of it here. So you can see that now. Now I want so-called big boys of Lagos to be in a new line. Apart from this, so I introduced the escape character and attached in. That tells the compiler that from here, put it up in a new line. Okay, so running that, if you should run that, you see that we are the so-called big boys of Lagos. So-called big boys of Lagos is now in a new line. Okay, so that's for the escape character. Let's go into something else as regards to string manipulations. Okay, so let's look at the split method. Let's look at the split method. So let me comment this out. So The split method, the split method split the string into substrings. It finds instances of the separator that you are actually using. Okay. So for instance, I initiate a variable here, a equals to hello dot wall. Okay. And I want to split this into two strings. So I will now type in print a dot split. In double quote, I indicate the dot and close my parentheses. Running that will output this. You can see now it has the split character there have splitted out hello and world because of the dots that are included there. Okay, if I use a comma here, if I make use of a comma here, hello comma world, and I come in here, I should also make use of a comma here. So I want it to be splitted at that point, comma. So running that will give hello, that will give us hello world. Okay, the splitting occurring where I included the comma. Okay, so that's basically it for the split method. Right now, you might not really see the application of it, but when you start to build software and application, you see how useful all these manipulating methods could be. Okay, so let's look at another way in which we can manipulate our string using the replace method. Okay, now the replace method replaces a string with another string. Okay, if your intention is to replace one string with another string, you use the replace method. So for instance, say using our variable a equals to hello world, now print a dot replace, we are replacing h with j. Let's see how that goes when we run this out. So it now prints out, instead of hello world, it's printing jello world. Okay. So that's another useful way that you can actually manipulate strings in Python. Very useful. When you start to build softwares and applications, you actually see how useful this could be. And let's look at other methods here. This another method here that we can use to manipulate our string is the strip method. Okay, it clears out the white spaces. Okay, normally if you should print this, there will be a white space here. You notice a white space here, and you also notice a white space here. But if I bring in strip method, this strip it of white space. Okay, and I print a dot strip this. If you strip out this white space here, and it will also strip out these white spaces here. A very useful way of manipulating strings, which you can actually make use of in a lot of ways. So let's print that and see what we have. Okay, there is an error on line 27. Let's check what happened there. What's there on line 27? Okay, I'm still working with comments. I didn't close the comment site. All right. Let me comment that out. Okay. So that error was as a result of me not commenting this out. Those are other parts of our tutorial here. So let's run that again. So that is hello world. Notice there are no those white spaces that we expected here are not there. Here and there, they are not there. So it's very useful method to use while applying applying Python in building things like softwares, mobile apps, and even websites. Okay, so another method that we can use is the upper and the lower method. Okay, the upper method actually capitalizes. Okay, let's look at the lower method first. The lower method here prints out everything in lower case, whereas the upper method will print out everything in uppercase. So print a dot lower will basically mean hello world will be printed out in lower case. Okay, so let's run that out. You can notice now the capital H is gone, is replaced with lower H, and W, lower W. There are other ways we can go around to do that and do this, but just this is one of the most popular ways that we actually do that. Okay, so let's look at upper. Like the upper will just print out what the you print it out in the higher in the upper case. Okay, so look at that, everything is in upper case now. Hello world. Okay, so that's basically it. That's basically what we will cover in this series for strings manipulations. We will actually start working on projects, and from those projects now you might come across new ways of which we actually are going to use to manipulate our strings. So speaking about project, we are going to create our very first project here, and it will be a word game. It's actually called Matlibs. Okay, it's called a Matlib. Matlib is just a word game that you play. You can create and to play. You can create it using Python, JavaScript, and some other programming language. It's very interesting, and you actually apply all what we have done so far. Okay, so let's explain it here. I've already written the code out so to save our time. So let's just explain it how we go about it here. So the first thing is to initiate a variable. Say A. You can call this anything. It can be okay. This was a famous person. You can call this variable famous person equals input the name of a famous person. This will collect the name from the user of any famous person the person is thinking about and store it as A. We've done variables before. B, you input any verb. C, you input any verb. D, you input your best experience. Like I said, this is a game, and you all see how it goes. Okay. Now we want to create our game. Our game is called Matlib, so we create it as a variable also. Matlib equals. So now this is a new thing here. Like I said, you come across other methods of string manipulations as we are creating projects along the the tutorial series. So this f string, okay, it's called f string. This is the best way and it's the cleanest way um, to actually do string concatenation. If you want to join strings and with other things, that's the best and cleanest way is to use the f string. So f string double quotes, you open the double quotation sign here, type everything you want to be in there, and you close it here. Okay, so this game is just a word game. So you type in I want to be known by everyone like A. For A, the variable A, we say the name of a famous person. Recall we did something like this during our string manipulations where you can actually initiate a variable and fix it in your sentence. But here we actually initiate the variable, collect it from the user, and now we will print out the game. Okay, it makes me so excited every time because So I want all of this to be in a new line. I'm just making sure all what we have covered, most of the things we have covered in the series is reflected in this game. Because new line, all this will now be in the new line. I have to B input another variable. The variable should be a verb. So I stay focused, and C should be another verb, the verb 2. C is a verb 2. Like I am in for D. D is to input your best experience. So print Madlib. As simple as this looks, this is a very simple game that you can create and store in your device to be playing when you are bored. Okay, so let me show you how to go about saving this. So you go to you go to you click this folder icon here to save this into your device. So and you open, it says save as. Okay, I don't want to go to last open. All right, so I just want you to, if as this should be the first thing you'll be saving through this. So let's go to public documents. Okay, I already created a folder, and this is a folder, and I saved a new file, .py. That's the first tutorial that we did. So let's go to the folder here, and inside the folder we have PyDroid 3 folder. You can actually follow that path, but let's just use another path here. If you to say, let's just go to last open. Okay, and I don't want to call this new file.py. I want to call this Madlibs. This is our first project here, Madlibs game. So we are going to save it into that very folder that I opened last. So that's it. So it has been saved. No, that's no. Let's do that again. Let's create a folder for it. So you go save as public documents. Let's create a folder, separate folder, so that it doesn't interfere with this. So you go to new folder. Okay, and let's call this Madlibs. You can create a lot of Madlibs. So we have created that folder. What's that? Madlibs. Okay, I thought we've done that already. Okay, so we've created Madlibs folder. Let's just save this as our first Madlib 1, and save that. Okay, so okay, it's still saving our previous project, but we are supposed to save this. So let's just so let's run this and see how that goes. Okay, name of a famous person who is famous here in Nigeria. I'll go with okay, let's say P Square. Okay, P Square is famous. We press enter. A verb, a verb is an action word. Which action? Let's just say I'm running. Okay, verb 2, I'm dancing. My best experience, I'll say driving. Okay, so there it goes. I want to be known by everyone like P Square. Wow, make me so excited every time because I have to running. So I stay focused on dancing like I am in for driving. Okay, so the aim is to see how coherent you can create a sentence from initiating variable. It's just a game. So the aim is just to see how coherent you can actually create that sentence. All right. So that's it for today. The tutorial is becoming too long. So we we next time we will look more into how to actually create more projects like that. And that's it. Have a nice day. See you in the next tutorials.